What is art? Part 1 Introduction. Art in today's world is much more than the traditional art forms of drawing, painting, and sculpture. Artists experiment and combine new media such as video and plastics. They create art from everyday objects that were originally designed by other artists. We are bombarded by images and messages created by graphic artists. Artists, designers, and architects have designed our household objects, cars, buildings, and clothing. In this chapter, you will broaden your concept of art and its media and its subject matter. Key terms: art, medium, subject, traditional, abstract, ceramic. Chapter 1. What does art mean to you? Does it remind you of paintings and sculptures? Does it make you think of an art gallery or art museum where these objects are displayed? Or does art make you think of a classroom full of paints and other supplies where you and your classmates make artworks and talk about them? If the word art made you think about those kinds of objects and places, you are correct. But art is more than that. It's also about people. Artists make art, and viewers visit galleries and museums. Teachers talk about art, and students like to study it. All of these people see, wonder about, and enjoy art. Art obviously involves seeing, but seeing effectively is a special skill. If you know how to see art, it can fill you with wonder, with a sense of curiosity, amazement, or even astonishment. And art can give you enjoyment, not just because it's pleasant to look at. Seeing art is meaningful and worthwhile. What is art? This painting from the 1700s is about being an artist. It is also a painting about paintings. How does this work agree or disagree with your idea of what art is? What is art? Even if you are not quite sure what to make of it, you probably recognize the subject of this picture as an artwork. How would you compare this artwork from the one from the previous page? 1-1 The variety of art. Before you take the ungraded quiz on the following pages, take 2 minutes to list as many artworks as you can, including what they are made of, their medium, and what they show, their subject. Try a second list after you read the chapter and compare them. Art quiz. Answer the question that goes with each of the 10 pictures. 1. This is A panel from a comic strip, B, an artwork. 2. This picture is an illustration for a children's story, B, an artwork. 3. This is A major piece of an American architecture, B, just another old office building. 4. This is A briefcase, B, an artwork. 5. This is A, an artwork, B, a Western movie costume. 6. This is a photograph of A oil spill cleanup, B, an environmental artwork. 7. This is A, an artwork, B, a suit of clothes. 8. These cave images are A painting made over 15,000 years ago, B, graffiti made as a joke by some boys over 60 years ago. 9. This is a diagram of color value relationships, B, an artwork. 10. This is A protest by animal rights activists, B, an artwork. Quiz answers. Were you surprised by any of the answers? You may have answered that some things were not art when really they are. This is because you may not realize that art today comes in so many forms and varieties. The variety of art. You may have recognized artwork 2, the landscape painting, as an artwork. It is very traditional. It has familiar and recognizable form, style, and subject matter. Yet the detail and the people shown in it may have led you to believe it was an illustration. Many artworks seem to tell stories. Although you won't see artwork 8, the cave painting, in a museum, you probably knew it was made many thousands of years ago. You can often find pictures of cave paintings in art books, and although some boys found this particular cave painting, they did not create the artwork themselves. The object in artwork 5 is a genuine buckskin shirt of the Brule Sioux people. Such objects, especially if they are from ancient cultures, are highly valued today. Objects like these are collected and placed in museums. The object in question 9 is the abstract painting by Joseph Albers. Abstract art does not resemble things you see in real life. Albert's works often involve investigations of color, so if you guessed a diagram of color value relationships, you weren't far off. Before the 20th century, however, Albert's work would have not been considered art because it was not realistic. Today, of course, we are accustomed to abstract art, whether of the freeform type or the geometric kind. Like Albers, artwork 1 has a style that makes it look like a comic strip. Before World War II, an artist could not have gotten away from imitating something so ordinary as a comic. But an art movement in the 1960s called pop art changed attitudes about this. Pop artists such as Roy Lichtenstein used images from popular culture to comment on American society and values. Another example of pop or pop related art is the felt sculpture by Joseph Beuys in question 7. Did you think it was just a man suit? Beuys was a fighter pilot for the German Air Force during World War II. When he was shot down, some peasants rescued him and kept him warm by covering with layers of felt. For that reason, many of Beuys' artworks include felt material. Do you think of architecture as art? Louis Sullivan, one of America's most distinguished architects, designed the Wallwrights building shown in question 3 in 1890-91. Yes, it's an old St. Louis office building, but it's not just an old building. Artists recognize it as a major advance in the style of the high-rise commercial architecture. Were you fooled by artwork 4, the ceramic sculpture? Ceramic refers to fire clay, a material that has been used for thousands of years for making pottery. Until quite recently, ceramic artists only made useful objects such as plates or jars. Now, many artists feel free to make anything out of clay. Artwork 6 and 10 may have seemed the least like art to you. How can throwing yards of fabric over a coastline be artwork? Why would people go to a museum to see a stuffed goat with a tire around the middle? Years ago, people had a difficult time even accepting abstract paintings as art, although they were made with traditional paint or canvas. But over the past 100 years, the idea of what art is has become much broader. Artists today are more likely to use almost any material and shape it into any form. They may even perform their art. New technologies have allowed some artists to experiment with neon lights, video, digital photography, sound. Some new art uses techniques that have not been heard of even 30 years ago. This new freedom in technology, however, has raised some questions about the definition of art. In the next chapter, we'll explore those questions. Chapter review. Usually, the word art makes people think of artworks, museums, and galleries. Art, however, is also people artists, viewers, art historians, archaeologists, teachers, and students.